Yo, are we live? Are we good? Am I able to be heard? What is poppin'? Am I good? Am I good? Am I good? What's poppin', everybody? It is me, KingdomAce. I'm high key thinking about changing my YouTube. I was like, dang, dude, should I change my? It's like, bro, I think I waited too late to change it again. If I wanted to change my name, you know, it's probably a little too late. It's probably a little too late. I'm putting that there for Jaden, by the way, Cody. That way he comes back and he knows. Yo, what's up, gamer girl? Rose, what's poppin'? Doing all right. Glad to see it. I'm glad to see y'all are doing all right. It is Zelda's 35th anniversary tonight. It is Zelda's 35th anniversary. 35 long years. 35 long years. Imagine being alive 35 years. I can't imagine that because I'm not 35 years old. I got like 11 more years. Am I 23 or 24? I'm 23. You ever forget how old you are? That'd be happening to me sometimes. I should probably share the stream, by the way. Should probably share the stream, by the way. Should probably share the stream, by the way. By the way, what's up, Skyfall? Bro, it is Zelda's 35th anniversary. Happy birthday to the legend of Zelda. Happy birthday to the legend of Zelda. Oh my goodness, dude. So I learned if you post a link on Twitter, you can't post a link and a GIF at the same time on Twitter. It'll make an error. I'm gonna try it again. I tried it on stream multiple times and it won't actually send the tweet. Everything I know is a lie because it worked. But I promise you, I tried to send it a few days ago and it didn't work. It didn't work. It did not work. Glad to be here and I'm watching a drama series. Ooh, what series you watching? You don't mind me asking. Yo, what do you think makes a good RPG romance? What doesn't work? Been thinking about it a lot. That is a nice, interesting topic to bring up, Rose. I appreciate you getting the stream rolling. You on it more than me. So there's a lot of aspects of what can make an RPG romance work. Primarily because there's so many broad angles to how romance works in real life. And most fiction is based off of, at least branches off of real life to some extent. But when we're talking about RPGs specifically, and by that I mean more extended adventures, most RPGs go on longer than most genres, you know, and this is excluding, say, multiplayer games and stuff like that. Of course, you know, an RPG can be multiplayer, but in this instance, we're going to be talking about streamlined adventures that go on for at least 15 hours or longer. During that time, within that time frame, they expect you to get invested with characters, you know, that you can end up, say, not only liking individually, but you want these people to be together. I feel like what makes an RPG romance not good when they don't let you, or you don't really like the characters individually. Like, say, for instance, this is just using an example. This isn't how I actually feel. But say, for example, Link and Zelda. Say you're playing a longer Zelda game, like Twilight Princess is pretty freaking long. That's like one of the longest Zelda games, unless you count Breath of the Wild, but most of that game doesn't have story. But I'd say one that has a streamlined story, I'd say Twilight Princess. I'll use that for an example. Imagine that throughout that game, you don't really care about Link. Link doesn't really do anything throughout that game to really show that he has any personality whatsoever. Yet at the same time, they kind of expect you to, in a way, want to see him and another character, whether it be Midna, whether it be Zelda, and them together. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like, well, I like her because she shows she has personality throughout this entire game, and honestly, putting her in a romantic situation would honestly be a joy to see because I already enjoy this character by themselves. But when you talk about Link, I don't really know what to expect from this character, and because it's hard to really translate how this character is feeling. And I guess that might make it a little bit more difficult because, say, Link is a silent protagonist, but even if we're not referring to silent protagonists, you know, me personally, if I don't really care for the character themselves, I'm not gonna really care about, you know, their romance with that person. Like, say, Persona 3. I'm not going to do any spoilers here for Persona 3, but between two characters, there's it's like basically the only canon main character romance. I'm not saying, you know, the protagonist, but of the main, you know, cast. There's an actual romance between two characters. And me personally, you know, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I honestly didn't care about that relationship. And the main reason for that was because it felt like the person that was on our team, the person they were with, they weren't shown to be likable in any aspect at all throughout the game. So it feels like when that person, all of a sudden this person and this person like each other all of a sudden, you know, even if you saw that, you know, the person on my team, you know, was, you know, obviously catching feelings, it makes me feel like, bro, yeah, okay, I'm glad to see you happy, but I feel like the romance isn't necessarily a good one because I didn't actually get to see a relationship blossom. And especially with RPGs, you have to pace the romance very, very well because these RPGs can be so long, especially with Persona. If you don't have a long, you know, if your pacing isn't good, then I feel like we won't feel like the relationship will have developed at a, you know, a good pace. You know, like if I feel like soon after they meet, they start dating, that's going to ruin the whole relationship. If I feel like these people obviously have feelings for each other, but we're 100 hours into this game and they still ain't made a move, it makes me feel like, dang, bro, like what the freak is going on here? You know, it's like, dang, this kind of sucks. I wish, there was more romance here. You know, I wish there was more development. You know, it just sucks in general when I see wasted potential like that. I don't know. That was a very, very broad, you know, question, but I feel good pacing is what makes a RPG romance good. You know, if you don't have good pacing, then that's gonna suck. Especially because romance is a very hard thing to balance in an RPG anyway, because at the end of the day, it has to balance the pacing of its base story, especially if the story doesn't act like the main story of the game doesn't revolve around romance. It's very hard to make romance in that story feel paced well because it's already juggling so many different things at once. So it's a very hard thing to do. Romance in RPGs is very hit and miss in a lot of things. If romance isn't the focus of the story, it can always be hit and miss, which I feel like is why in a lot of RPGs they make romance optional. You know, it's like optional options. Like in Dragon Quest XI S, they have more romance options than the original game did, but the romance options are completely optional that you have to go out of your way for. It reinforces how you may feel about individual characters, which is always a good thing, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change anything about the main plot. Same thing goes for Persona in a lot of times. Persona romance doesn't exist unless you choose for it to be there. You know, some people try to hate on Persona just being a dating simulator when you have to go out of your way to do that. You know, I can understand with Persona 3 and Persona 3, you had to romance every girl. You know, if you max out this social link, you have to date them. There's no, you know, not going that option. That I can understand it if you feel that way about Persona. I can see that if you only experience Persona 3. But 4 and 5, you can choose to not date them. So I don't understand that. But That's basically what it is. Again, that was super long-winded answer to a very simple question. I apologize, but y'all know how it be. Y'all know how it be. Oh, it's okay to not be okay. I feel like is that on Netflix? I feel like I saw that. How do you feel about the romance, or at least budding romance opportunities in Final Fantasy VII Remake? I don't care. In Final Fantasy VII, or at least the 7 universe, there's only really one canon relationship, and that was between Zack and Aerith. They, were actually in a relationship, and the only reason she was, in a way interested in Cloud was because he reminded her of Zack. I'm not gonna go any further into that than that, but any of you guys that have played Crisis Core, or any of you guys that played the original 7, you know exactly why I'm saying that, because it's way deeper than that looks. But yes, she wasn't actually interested in Cloud himself romantically. She was more being reminded of what she lost. But if I had to say there was a relationship in Final Fantasy VII, I would wholeheartedly believe in Tifa and Cloud. Not saying I don't like Aerith and Cloud, but as someone who's played Crisis Core, I couldn't bring myself to picture Cloud and Aerith together. Personally, that's because I know how much Cloud and Zack care for each other as homies, and it would feel like, now that Zack's gone, going after his girl, even though I know that it's more complicated than that. I know it's more complicated than that. I'm trying to, speaking in generalization because to avoid spoilers, but it would feel like I'm going after my homie's girl. Even if he's gone, he's not in the picture or anything anymore, I still couldn't bring myself, even if she wasn't aware of my relationship with my homie, so I'm not blaming her, but I would feel like I'm disrespecting my homie. Maybe it's because I have experience with that kind of thing. I've been in that situation to where, at least I'm not going after my homie's girl. I've had a homie, go after, my girl kind of thing, to where, so I guess put myself in Zack's shoes, I guess because, play as Zack in Crisis Core, if, as much as he cares about Aerith, and knowing that, say, Cloud went after him, after her or something, that would probably hurt me, so I guess my own personal feelings get in the way of that kind of thing. But again, it feels like I don't like the ship of Aerith and Cloud, primarily because I feel that it's disrespectful to Zack. That's my sole reasoning for it. Not to say they wouldn't make a good couple. They easily could. Obviously, they have chemistry, but I feel like that chemistry is only really there because Aerith has a great personality. So, and I feel Cloud really opens up when Tifa is around, but that's because they grew up together. So that's not necessarily saying that they have a romantic chemistry with one another, but Cloud is more of himself when she is around. He feels most at ease when she is around because she's seen him, at some of his lowest points, so who isn't comfortable, if you're going to be comfortable around anybody in life, it'll be somebody who's been there for you at your worst, and Aerith was not there for Cloud at his worst, she wasn't there at his humble beginnings. So through everything, Tifa has basically been there. Of course, not when he was in the military, obviously, even though they did meet up during that time a couple of times. But again, for original Final Fantasy VII stuff. But, But 7 Remake could go a whole different way. But I am not sure how they're going to handle that can of worms. Especially, with, the idea that Zack is alive now. I'm not sure how they're doing that. I'm not even sure if that's necessarily the case. They are leading you to believe that Zack is alive, but that is not officially confirmed, I don't believe. So, I mean, by all intents and purposes, we have every reason to believe he is, but I don't know if that's exactly what they're saying. Not until it is specifically shown or specifically said in detail. But if that's what they're doing, I have no idea what the freak. I have no idea. To that wholeheartedly, I like your answer. I appreciate that, Rose. What was the first video game you ever played? The very first video game I ever played, I'm not sure I remember. However, the very first game I owned was Super Mario World. That was the very first game I owned. That's also the very first game, I guess you could say that's the very first game I remember playing, but according to my mom, it's not the first game I played. But she knows it wasn't that one because she remembers buying that for me. So she knows I played other games, say maybe at daycare or something. But today, if you watch this tomorrow, you can absolutely watch this whenever you'd like. Did you watch the beginning on Netflix yet? No, I completely forgot. I honestly binged Fruits Basket and now I can't get the ending out of my head. I binged the 2 seasons and read the manga. And romance is heavy on my mind right now because of that. You played Pokemon Masters, fun game and storyline, free to play. I played Pokemon Masters when it first came out, but I'm not really a big mobile game guy, so it's hard for me to really get into mobile games. The only time I play mobile games is really for a sponsorship, or that's it. Basically, that's it. I don't really play mobile games too much else, mainly because it feels inconvenient to play on my phone. I could always boot up BlueStacks or something. So if I'm going to play a mobile game, I'd have to play it on my PC. But not that I hate mobile games whatsoever. I think mobile games are very fun. I've played a bunch of really fun mobile games, you know, and I've played through some mobile games like Final Fantasy, you know, some of the Final Fantasy games, you know, and Dragon Quest. I've been playing Dragon Quest 3 on mobile and it's really fun. However, it's just hard to actually play on my phone. The drama series, I'll definitely have to check it out. I've been watching some of those Korean shows on Netflix. One of my favorite manhwas got adapted into a live action series on Netflix called Sweet Home. You should absolutely either read the source material or watch the series on Netflix. Very good. Also, good question. The girl in the secret episode opened a portal from one side. How is Riku going to get back to his world? They said he would be able to return by using the power of waking in which he came. So we're going based off the information that if he uses the portal to get there, he can use the portal to leave. So basically when he gets to that other side, that portal is still going to be there. It's kind of like in Dream Drop Distance. You know, when they would use a portal, the portal of the entrance and the exit are still there. So all you have to do is go back to the portal and it would let you go. Not sure if you quite remember that. They never really talk about that in story, but it's been seen in Dream Drop Distance. They did the exact same thing. And it's not necessarily, it's not just a power that exists in the dream world, because obviously, you know, Riku did that at the end of Dream Drop Distance in the real world. So I just remembered the Zack and Aqua cutscene. Although I reckon Kingdom Hearts isn't huge on romance otherwise. I don't think romance is ever going to play a big factor in Kingdom Hearts' story. I don't think they should go that route, simply because of how the Kingdom Hearts fan base can get when it comes to romance, you know? I don't think it needs to be a focus. I think it can have a sub focus on it. Like, and in the end of the day, I think Kingdom Hearts does kind of have a sub focus of romance. You know, obviously they show romance, you know, with the people, you know, they care about, but I think what makes Kingdom Hearts great is that people can imagine any kind of ship they want. It doesn't really matter who you want. If you want Riku and Sora to be together, you can. If you want Sora and Kairi together, you can. It doesn't really affect the story regardless, because at the end of the day, Sora cares for all of these people. So you know, I don't think romance is necessarily I don't think any romance would really help aid the story. Thank you. Have a good night. Take care of yourself. All right, gamer girl, have a good one. What was the name of the anime you said you were currently watching again, looking for something new? It's called Fruits Basket. It is a shoujo, a slice of life romance sub-comedy genre. But that's what it is. But I loved it. I freaking loved it, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big like slice of life romance guy. I know I may not seem like it. I'm a whole action RPG YouTuber and all that kinds of stuff. Bro, give me some romance and I'll freaking eat it up, bro. Fruits Basket was awesome. Fruits Basket was freaking awesome. I love other ones like Toradora and stuff. I like the romance elements of Steins Gate, which is still my favorite anime, you know? Love that. I love it. I will eat it up. I'm building romance in my series over the course of a trilogy. I plan to take readers in some complex places emotionally to invoke questions on what makes love the kind that really matters. Hello, never mind, you lost it. Page beyond shipping, sorry y'all. It don't really matter. You watch JoJo's too, right? Got it right here, bro. See that? See that? See that? Actually, I don't even know if you can see it. I love JoJo's. JoJo's is also tied for my #1 favorite anime manga series. But yeah, Rose, I definitely get that. Romance is a very complex subject. I love talking about romance just because I love what romance does to people. That's why, if you guys haven't already, I know, oh, he's shameless promoting his content, bro. Y'all are on my channel, bro. I'm assuming that if y'all are here, y'all have something, there's some kind of enjoyment on my content. But I did a video about the relationships within Kingdom Hearts. That video is that title's kind of clickbait. That video isn't really about the relationships of Kingdom Hearts. I don't talk about, the focus of that video isn't about Sora with this person or Kairi with that person or Riku with that person. That's not what the video is about at all. Honestly, most of those of you guys that have in the chat that have seen that video, you guys know that. I honestly only put Kingdom Hearts in the title just so it can get some views, and even then, it's one of my worst performing videos in a long time. The newest video, whew, I don't know what happened to that video, but that video is terrible. But that video, the relationships with Kingdom Hearts, is mainly talking about romance, and because it was a Valentine's video, so I want to let people know that romance isn't necessarily important in life. What is important is relationships, and there's a difference between there's a bunch of different aspects of relationships. When people hear relationships, they think of romance, but just because romance is a thing in relationships doesn't necessarily mean that every relationship is built upon romance. We as humans are beings that are destined to have relationships with one another, friends, family, loved ones, all kinds of things, and a lot of these people can overlap in all of these different kinds of places. Most significant others can likely also be counted as best friends as well, but at the end of the day, every human should be striving to form relationships with one another. Even if that relationship brings you pain and suffering, there's a lot more aspects to relationships than just, sadness. A lot of people feel that, days like Valentine's Day are just an easy way to, be sad on this day and everything. Oh, I should be dating somebody. I'm single, all that stuff. Who the freak cares? You got friends, you got homies. At the end of the day, who the freak cares if you're not dating somebody? Who the freak cares, that you've been single for a year or whatever the freak, At the end of the day, you should be aiming to have relationships with people, friends, coworkers, all that kinds of stuff. Giving relationships with people are reasons enough in themselves, to even live. There were days where, I was so freaking upset. I was just like, bro, I freaking woke up today. Freak. We all been there, especially during my edgy high school phase. We all been there. I don't have that kind of mindset anymore. It was only a very short time in my life where I felt that way. But, at the end of the day too, it's kind of just like, bro, even if I'm not looking forward to what happens today, I got to wake up. I think everybody forgets to count their blessings in life. You would be surprised how quick people are to talk about the things they're lacking, but they don't even realize the blessings they actually have greatly outweigh the things they don't have. If you were to add up everything you're blessed with in life, every little individual minute thing that you don't even think to ponder, even everything you don't even ponder in your day to day, if you were to add up all of those things, you take advantage of, the good things in your life would so overwhelmingly overpower, all the negatives in your life. At the end of the day, don't focus on the things you don't have. Focus on what you're working to obtain and what you already have right in front of you. Don't think about how you don't have this A, you wanted an A in PE. Well, bro, you got an A in psychology, you got an A in physics, or even vice versa. Don't be upset that you only have an A in freaking gym. Well, at the end of the day, that means you're not failing all your classes. At least you came to class. You did something. Yeah, you may only have a C in physics, but that's better than a D. At least you got a home to, go to. At least you had something to eat today. And even if you didn't have a meal, maybe you could have a snack. You may not have $100 in your pocket, but at least you got five. Five's enough for a bag of chips. That's enough $5 footlong from Subway. At the end of the day, it may sound like I'm being silly here, and I in a way, maybe I am. But at the end of the day, I also feel I'm extremely serious about everything I'm saying. Who cares about what you don't have? Why focus on bad when you can focus on good? Don't you want good news? Don't you want something to be happy about? Why choose to focus on something that makes you sad when you can focus on something that makes you happy? Why would you choose to look at the bad aspect of everything in life when you can choose to look at the good parts? Why would you choose to be sad over choosing to be happy? It seems so logical. It seems so, well, duh, I'd rather be happy. I know there are mental conditions and, illnesses and sicknesses and all that kinds of stuff that can prevent you from feeling a certain way. Depression is a thing that the logic I'm giving doesn't necessarily mean that that's how it'll work. I know there are complexities and stuff like that, but I've always been somebody, I've been there. I trust you. I don't get too personal on stream, but trust me, I have been there. I have been there. I don't always go into detail, but trust me, there is always going to be somebody who understands what you're going through. There is always going to be somebody out there who has been through what you've been through. It always feels like we're alone in certain aspects of our life and other people around us. Yeah, the people in your day-to-day might not understand, but I promise you someone out there is going through what you're going through. Stay strong together. You're stronger together. Be positive. I always, maybe this is controversial, but I've always felt like things like depression can be overcome, even without medicines, even without therapy, from professionals. I would always recommend, I don't really like the whole medicine scene because I don't like how America in general handles that kind of thing, not to get political or anything like that. I feel that a lot of these people in these kind of mental health professions are only out here for the money. That's why I wanted to become a psychologist once upon a time, primarily because I genuinely care about what makes people, tick, why people think the way they do. And I want to show them why the negative way they're thinking isn't right, and how to overcome and automatically begin thinking the positive. It's so easy to initially think about the negative of every situation, but I want to rewire people's thought process to automatically think positivity. And that's something that I try to bring, an energy I try to bring in my streams, an energy I try to bring in videos. I know not all videos, show that aspects of things, but I always try to fit it in where I can. But at the end of the day, take the time to count your blessings. It'll take a lot longer than you think. And that's all right. If you get bored of counting your blessings, then that just goes to show you that you've got a lot to be thankful for. Even if it seems minuscule to you, I bet you that one of those things would make somebody happy. There are people out there who can't drink. They don't got nothing to drink or eat or anywhere, warm to sleep. They gotta wear the same, clothes every day. They have to shower once a week and stuff like that. Or even worse, there are some people who, mentally, because of, mental conditions, and they might not be in the right state of mind, they can't bring themselves to shower or brush their teeth every day, And If you're not in that situation, then that's a blessing you can add to that list. You know, just count the blessings that you got. And again, if you find yourself getting bored, you know, of counting everything you got, then that just goes to show you that those are all the things you should be focusing on instead of just focusing on what you don't got. Sorry, that was a big rant. I'm sorry. Y'all know how I get. I don't know how to stop talking. We know, Jordan, you know, look at that. You saw one comment and you went on a 20-minute rant. Bro, we've been through this. Some of y'all have been with me for multiple years now. Some of y'all have been that way. It's always been like this. It has always been like this. I'd be playing Mario Kart with people on stream, and then everybody got to stop talking because he starts monologuing. You know, like I'm a freaking villain or something. You know, it'd be like that. But at the end of the day, hopefully that little message there was able to help somebody out. And hey, if you're just coming in, you can rewind like 10 minutes and listen to some of that. But I don't know. Waiting on part 6 to be animated. No, sir, I'm not waiting on that, homie. I read that joint and it was amazing. Part 7 still needs to come back ASAP. I'm gonna be real. Araki already said that if JoJo were to stop being animated, it would end with part 6, because part 7 and 8 would be very, very difficult to actually because of what goes on in it. So I would recommend read part 7. It's the best part. You ever read D and Angel? No, I have not. I think it's feasible that Nomura had been still on button 15. The secret ending of K3 would have played out the same with Noctis instead. There's clear duality between the two. So, not necessarily. Primarily because they wouldn't have any involvement if Disney didn't give them the okay. If Disney gave them the okay, then sure. But the thing is, Disney doesn't have to give them the okay if they make it an original character. So they didn't have to ask Disney at all about Yozora, because Yozora is not a character who's ever appeared in Final Fantasy. He is an original Square Enix created character. Sora is not a Square Enix character. He's a Disney character because Disney owns him and Kingdom Hearts in a way that kind of makes him also a Disney character, but the primary rights of him are Square Enix's because they actually created the character. However, Disney was the lead of Kingdom Hearts, so that's why it's through technicalities. But I guess you could consider him a Disney character as well, though. It's kind of like how, though Super Mario RPG is a Mario game and it's a Nintendo game, Square Enix was the one who actually developed the character. So though they actually developed the game themselves, Nintendo did not make Super Mario RPG, Square Enix did. Well, Squaresoft back then. So even though they didn't, make Mario, or they don't own Mario or anything like that, they own Geno. So that's why when, they weren't having a good relationship at that time, Super Mario RPG cannot be re-released without cooperation with Square Enix, because obviously Geno is owned by Square. So Nintendo, despite, Super Mario RPG being a Mario game and a Nintendo game, they got to go through Square Enix for that kind of thing. That's what I mean. You have your connection to yourself too. Exactly. You have because never doubt what kind of relationship you have with yourself. You have to be able to love yourself in order to be able to love others. And at the end, and by that I mean truly, you can feel stronger for others than you do yourself, and that's okay. But I always feel like there's a limit to how much you can love somebody if you don't love yourself. But at the end of the day, another person or other people can make you love yourself more. That's how they always say friends, family, and loved ones bring out the best in us. That's why a lot of people talk about significant others bringing out the best, making the best us we can be. When I'm with somebody that I care about, it makes me want to be a better me, not just, for myself, but it gives me incentive to be better for them, worthy of them. And that's not even just romantic. It also can be friends. I want to be a better person so I can be an even better friend to this person. I want to be an even better person so I can be a better son to my mother. Things like that. Imagine dating somebody. Yeah, right? single. And that's okay. Achieving wisdom, I love it. Hey, as long as I can help somebody out. I appreciate that, Data Goose. Is Elrena alive since Larxene is no longer a nobody, or is she no longer relevant? Elrena is, it is canon that Elrena is alive because Larxene, a nobody was killed. And when a nobody is killed, they're recompleted. Essentially, that can, and when you really think about it, becoming a nobody and killing a nobody essentially makes them immortal. Because at the end of the day, do they really die? But it seems like people age still when they become a nobody, though. So from what it seems like, if you age as a nobody, if you become a human again, you don't go back to the age you were when you were a human. You look exactly how you did when you were a nobody, you know? So if time passed, you know? So I'm assuming if I'm an old man now and I'm a nobody, if I get killed as a nobody, I get recompleted, I'm still an old man. This is why I subscribe to you, and I appreciate every comment you give me, Rose. We know Luxord is alive, maybe same world as Sora. Well, I mean, he was recompleted too, so I mean, better than having an F. Super late for the stream. Hope everyone's doing all right tonight. Doing all right, Tristan. I hope you are too. Appreciate you. The energy is felt. What's up, Andy? Good to see you. Yasmin. KingdomAce MD has a nice ring to it. What's the haps, fam? Yo, what's up, James? Always good to see you, my boy. Life partner passed away in 2016, and I'd always tell people I didn't lose her. She's always with me. I'm very sorry for your loss, Rose. I'm very, very sorry. Losing a loved one can really, really suck. So I'm sorry you had to go through that. Very sorry you had to go through that. Losing a loved one really sucks. I lost some loved ones in 2020 as well. It is a very difficult thing, especially during these even more difficult times, you know. But I think in a way, still losing a loved one is still incentive for us to be the best us we can be, you know. Those loved ones that aren't here anymore, they still give us reason, you know. The memory of them still gives us reason to be the best us we can be. We want to be better for them, you know. They're looking down on us, you know. I want to show off that I'm doing all right, that I've grown, I'm stronger, and I can be there for other people, you know. Especially if you look up to that person. Not too sure who that person may have been to you, but at the end of the day, I'm sure they're happy with the person you've been. And even then, it's only skyward from here. You know, you may not be in your best position in life right now, but, you know, just keep speaking it into existence and, you know, take the steps to actually get there. No worries. Tangent 8 was goody, my G. Let's pop in, hit Tori. Good to see you as always. He's a constant guide and love to inspire too. That's what I like to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. There was actually plans for this stream. There was actual plans for this stream. I did a Kingdom Hearts thumbnail just for clickbait. Yeah, clickbait. That's why I did it. What you guys want to do? Sue me? What you guys gonna do? Sue me? Kingdom Hearts clickbait. Kingdom Hearts clickbait. I know what these viewers like. I know. Did I take advantage of what you guys like to get viewers? Possibly. I'm lonely. Oh, this is not a tier list itself. It's a video. Dang, I already had a tier list I wanted to do, but I probably should have gotten it first. Let's type it here. Hopefully we get a few additional spin-off games to answer questions before jumping into 4. Probably. Probably. I would not be surprised. Would not be surprised whatsoever. This looks like every... I need one more. There's one more missing from this list. Recent. Let me see. I don't think Age of Calamity is new, and I'm not too sure it's actually going to be on a lot of these lists, you know. No, I forgot. I already got my answer. They put the freaking CDI games on here, bro. All right. No shame on that clickbait. Hey, what's up? What's poppin' with it? I think when you lose somebody important, you truly value your time on this earth. It gives you a sense of purpose, or at least that's what I feel. You know, and when you lose a loved one, how you feel may be only how you feel, you know? How you feel when you lose somebody may not be the equivalent of how I feel when I lose somebody, you know? Some people cry, some people don't. But just because somebody doesn't cry doesn't mean they don't feel the same thing. You know, I could feel stronger than you felt when you lost your loved one, but I didn't cry. You know, it's always subjective with these kinds of things. But at the end of the day, what we do after, you know, that person passes, what we do after with our lives is what truly matters. What will we become of ourselves? What does that person want for us? You know, we can only be the best us we can be. We can only, you know, why do anything if we're not going to do our hardest at it? I'm not going to do this YouTube thing just to, you know, make videos I'm not even proud of. I want to make videos I'm proud of. And if that takes a little bit longer time, sorry, I don't upload daily. I got a life, got loved ones, student, doing my best, you know? And sometimes it hurts when, say, things don't get views and stuff like that. It might make me feel like I'm starting to go down a path to where I feel like I'm trapped again. You know, I was just I made a Twitter thread about that a couple of days ago. I'm so sorry for those of you guys that follow me on Twitter. I just randomly made a long freaking thread of just, you know, sappy feelings. You know, I guess I kind of want to, before I get into the tier list, I guess I can read through that thread. You know, just because we get our feelings here, you know, I might as well. I guess I'll read through all of these things. Make off now, adios, KingdomAce. What's up? All right, Jesse, you have a good one. Your name's clickbait. No one's complaining about that. Konbanwa, Final Gamurai. So I made this Twitter thread. It said, man, going from Kingdom Hearts YouTuber to JRPG channel was one of the best decisions I've ever made for content creation. It's a process, but man, recording, scripting, thumbnail making, streaming, everything just feels more fun to do. Direction truly is key. It got to the point where I felt like I didn't look forward to making videos, or at least I had the minimal amount of fun possible when making them. I felt trapped into making what I knew worked without room for expressing my love for other things I enjoy. I did a typo. Knowing now I can literally cover whatever I want from this genre is so much stress off my shoulders. Of course, you gotta have focus, but you can still have variety within that focus. I feel that's something important that seems so obvious, but I was oblivious to for a long time. I like analyzing, theorizing, breaking things down. I like talking psychology, discovering why people think the way they do, why they do the things they do, why we like the things we like, going that level deeper to discover these kinds of things. But now I feel my vision is so clear. I know what I need to do. And yeah, one topic may get viewership that far exceeds the others, but how can I gain an audience for something I never speak about? I have to show my passion for these things, and the audience will come in tow. I've done well with covering Persona and Kingdom Hearts, and now Final Fantasy XIV has gone well so far. This game has helped me learn to not focus on the now for viewership. Focus on the future and what this will blossom into. I can even see who's found me from it. So with being able to talk freely about Kingdom Hearts, Persona, and Final Fantasy, there are other series I love just as much, if not more, like Zelda and Yakuza. I'd love to dive into the lore and story of the characters of those worlds and the story behind them. Every video, every stream, every single one, I do my best to give an encouraging always look skyward. That's not just some quirk. It's something I say to remind myself of my devotion, as much as it is to encourage others to march through life's hardships, and I always mean it. I know there's probably tons of people who don't make it to the very end of videos and streams and probably never hear me even say it, but I think that's fine. Honestly, it's more for me than others anyway. I think it's okay to be selfish about little things like that in life. And then I said, man, how did this become a thread? I'm sorry for blowing up everyone's timeline or notifications. It's time to get back to work. And I did. That was a very long tweet thread. That could have been its own video. How would you feel about a KH game that has an open world or semi-open world in Quadratum? I wouldn't care. I think it'd be cool. I think small open worlds are some of the best open worlds. I think big open worlds are more prone to be bad than small open worlds. Look at games like Deus Ex Mankind Divided. That game is a small open world to where you can go anywhere you want within this city. The buildings, the people in it, that has a general focus of what's inside this place. Majora's Mask is also what I'd call a small open world. You can go anywhere you want within Clocktown, in its sub-ranching areas, and there are tons of different NPCs, there's tons of different buildings you can all go into and become a part of this world itself. You don't need a giant world to feel like you're a part of it. A lot of people equate games like Breath of the Wild and Skyrim, as the masters of the open world genre because, they feel larger than life and everything, If you see somewhere you can go to, which is a great feeling, but at the end of the day, I feel bigger open worlds also sometimes lack focus. I feel like you can only love Breath of the Wild's world so far if you're not a Zelda fan. I love every bit of Breath of the Wild's world because I'm a Zelda fan. I was able to appreciate all the little nods and nuances to past games that the average player who hasn't played those games couldn't appreciate. I mean, if you could appreciate it being there, but you don't know what you're really looking at, this just looks like random ruins. But to me, this was a place I explored. This was a central hub of a past journey for me. This was a place where I was at thousands of years ago, and to me, that makes this little area I'm at that I didn't even have to go to 10 times more impactful than it just looks like some random ruins, to the average player, I also feel Yakuza does this extremely well too. All the games are basically like that. You're exploring every inch of this one city. I mean, of course, depending on what story you're going or which game you're in, sometimes there's another city you can go to as a different character, but usually you only go to one little city at a time. A lot of times in these big open world games, these cities only take you 2 minutes to go through. There's only 2-3 buildings in some of these cities. This whole village is only 2-3 buildings. A village in real life would have a whole networking paths and places to be able to get lost in. And this can happen in the smaller games because they're so focused on making this smaller scale world humongous. If they litter you with a bunch of things to do within this small area, it feels like it doesn't matter if this area isn't 12 times the map of Skyrim. I always have something to do here. I know the people here. I know this street. I know what buildings are here. I know what stores are there. I know what this person does on this day of the week. I know on day 3 that this person moves out of town because they're scared the moon's gonna fall on them. I know day 1, this person is over here wondering why their cows are getting kidnapped and stuff like that. I know what's going on in the individual lives of these individual people because I've made myself a part of their life. And of course, you can do that in bigger open world games, but on a much smaller scale. So if Kingdom Hearts is going to do this, I would much prefer them to make it a much smaller scale world, kind of like how Yakuza and Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I would prefer it to be how those games do it because they are way more, story focused. They're way more focused on the characters who are in that world. You know, I bet you most people can't name all the NPCs in a building, you know, and most people can't name all the NPCs in a town in an open world game, because most of them don't really have any names or any significance. While practically every NPC in Majora's Mask have significance. You know, they are all people who have gone through things. But yes, if they did semi-open world or miniature open world as they call it, I would love that. Articulating exactly why I joined support. Keep bringing us into your vision and growth. Much love. I appreciate that, Don. It really does mean a lot hearing that from you. You're fleshing out a fuller window of expression and makes your content richer. I appreciate that, Rose. If you're referring to my content and not something I was saying, because you know I'm late with reading comments all the time. Have you played The Witcher 3? I think that and Breath of the Wild have amazing open worlds for completely different reasons. I have The Witcher 3, but I haven't actually sampled it myself. Xenoblade is so good at small open world. I wouldn't necessarily call Xenoblade small open world. However, I would say that for a larger open world, they are very, very good at fleshing out characters. Mainly because those games have a ton of freaking side quests. So practically everybody has a name. Practically everybody has something that you can recognize them for. And so even if I don't know this person's name, I was like, oh yeah, this is the guy that wanted me to do that, right? You know, he's this guy who having trouble with his wife, or you know, this is that person that doesn't know how to raise his kid or something like that. You know, they have the little nuances that still make, though they're not as personal, they still make them memorable. And I feel Xenoblade is a master at doing that kind of thing. You know? Yo, is that Data Goose becoming a member? Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Despite there it goes. There it goes. Data Goose just became a member. I appreciate you. Thank you. Enjoy the couple emotes that there are, and the sub badge. Definitely worth a play. Witcher 3 devolves into morality a lot. With such a rich perspective like yours, I'm sure you'd appreciate it. I definitely need to get into it. Honestly, I kind of want to play it on console. But I was gifted the game on Steam. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do this stream. I know I need to play Persona 5 Strikers. Atlas was kind enough to send me the game early. You know, I was able to, the game's not out yet, and they were kind enough to send me the game. You know, and I know people who pay $70 are able to play the game right now too. But, you know, they already gave me the details of, you know, oh, you can, these are the streaming guidelines and all that stuff. And the fact that, you know, the Warriors of Courage are out here enough for Atlas, you know, and Sega to really notice us, that's a big thing. You know, the fact that I have contacts over there now, that's saying something. You know, I appreciate all the support you guys have given me, and I'm glad how far we were able to come together. You know, it's only skyward from here, as I always say. It's only skyward from here. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the great content and kind words for the community. Hey, Data Goose, I appreciate you thanking me, but you should honestly be thanking yourselves and the people that are in chat too, because this ain't just me. This is not just me. You guys continuously show me the great parts about yourselves. So it's not just me, you know, that makes this community so good. It's also a combination of everything you guys have done as well. So this community isn't a community when it's just me. You guys also make up this community. So take the time to thank the people that are around you as well. Thank them. They're what make this community so welcoming, you know, because I could be saying all the sweet, kind words, you know, ever. I could be making say all those sweet, kind words. But at the end of the day, if my community was toxic and stuff like that, bro, we would not be having this conversation. You probably wouldn't want to be here. So I guess I can't even really call it half, but I guess I make up half of what this community is, you know, being the creator. But you guys also do your best to be welcoming. And sometimes we'll have a wise guy come in here, but most people don't play that. And even if they try, I don't play that. I'm never going to let somebody endanger the comfortability, you know, of this community. So that's not going to happen. But I think we have been nonchalantly moving along for a bit too long. I need this tier list will work. This has them all. Okay. You plan on doing Yakuza videos anytime soon? I enjoy them for sure. I'd love to make Yakuza videos. I would absolutely love to make Yakuza videos. Just not too sure how I'd implement it, you know? Not too sure how I'd implement it in a way that would make people want to watch. You know, that's my constant, you know, thing I think about. I'm always thinking about what I'd love to do, but how I do it is something I feel like I don't always have the answer to. And I know I just have to ponder on it for a while and I could find a way to implement it. And I guess I'm always thinking about, well, if especially since I'm not with Screenwave anymore, how I get paid has changed. So I have to do well enough on YouTube to even get paid now. So that, not sure you guys fully know how that works. I'm not sure if most of you guys are creators or anything, but basically if you're not with a multi-channel network, you only get paid if you do well enough. And when you experiment with videos, that can lead you to not making as much money as you could. And when this is what helps aid my family, you know, it also makes it makes you feel like I don't have room to experiment because I might not be able to help my family as much this month, you know, things like that. Because say if let's say this, say all the work you did accumulated $95 this month. So let's say that. But because you didn't make $100 that month, you don't get any of it. But I mean, if you hit 100 next month, you'll also get what you earned this month too. So say I earned 100 next month, the 95 I made from that month will roll over till this month. And YouTube does not pay you every 2 weeks, it pays you once a month. So if you miss out on getting paid that month, you'll literally have to wait the entire month to get paid again. You know, so it's like you have to wait for the opportunity. So just so you guys know, I'm not saying that makes me not wanna I'm not saying it makes me not wanna, you know, experiment, because I'm gonna experiment anyway. But this is why I also push stuff like donations. Well, I haven't pushed donations, and some of you guys keep reminding me. I've seen the DMs. I don't always respond because sometimes I don't know how to respond. but I've seen the DMs. I should push donations and stuff like that more. I apologize. That I try to push Patreon. You guys can always become a patron if you guys would like. There's benefits. You get access to videos early. You also get choices and polls to choose on next stream series and stuff like that. You guys would like to donate in any kind of way to help you boy out or any way and help my family, you can always, you know, donate there. I hope I pinned the right message, because it doesn't say I pinned anything. No, it says it's there. Stuff. I don't mind helping out if it means you can make the videos you want to make. It's your channel, you should be able to. I'd happily donate if it meant you could do what you want to do. Hey, donating is something that I'm not trying to guilt trip y'all in. Y'all could not give two craps about it. You can literally, as soon as you hear me bring up donating, you can literally meet. It wouldn't matter to me. I don't want anybody to feel like they gotta donate, you know, or anything like that. Never feel like that. You don't have to give me a dime. And even for those who become patrons or members and everything like that, I'll never lock away content for them exclusively. Like say I'll never make videos that only patrons can see. I'll never make streams that only patrons can participate in, or they can only comment in. I'll provide incentives and thank yous to those people, of course. Like, I'll make polls to where they can influence what stream series or what videos come up. I'll do things like that because I have to give back to people who financially support me. But at the same time, I don't want people to feel like they have to pay for my content, because that's just not right. I'd rather make it to where if we reach a certain goal, then everybody gets the benefit. That's personally how I do it. That's how I would personally want to have it. Say if we end up getting, say, 10 patrons, then at 10 patrons, then it'll let me be able to do this on the channel, that kind of thing. Because it doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter where, or say we get this amount of money, we were making this amount of money on Patreon, then that's a milestone for me to be able to do this. Like, say if I were, like, say in a month, if we're able to make, say, $1,000 on Patreon in a month, then that would let me be able to, one, help my family out, but I could probably upload every day if that was the case. I would never have to fully struggle or have to worry about it, that kind of thing. These numbers are just random, so these numbers can completely vary. Life is like that. But that's just what I mean. Not trying to have people leave the stream. Oh, they're talking about donations, they're talking about money. Hey, no, I'm not like that. Especially some people who are coming in for the first time seeing me. First thing they hear the YouTuber talking about is money and donations. I'm not like that. I'm not like that. Never shame on plugs. We know you don't want to pressure us. You deserve support. You earned that. I appreciate that, Rose. It really does mean a lot. Dude, it's pressuring me right now to go AFK. I don't feel obligated to, but if it means I can see content that I want to see despite it not getting views, then sure. Yeah, because I mean, if I don't have to worry about, say, because, especially because, again, if you don't make a certain amount on YouTube when you're not with a network, you will literally just not make any of it. So it's just like, that's where I'm like, ooh, I'll still make the content, but I will be thinking about it. And it might even limit how much I make other videos. Like, say right now, I'm willing to do, say in a month I upload 10 times. That would make me, instead of doing, say 4 Kingdom Hearts videos and 6 other videos, say 1 Persona, 1 Final Fantasy, 1 Zelda, 1 Yakuza, etc., it would make me feel like I have to do 7 Kingdom Hearts and only 3 of something else. That's what it would change. I mean, of course, most of you guys have found me from Kingdom Hearts, so you probably wouldn't care, if you just get more Kingdom Hearts. But I am more than Kingdom Hearts. And I know, depending on my mental state, the frequency of videos would decline, because I know, at the end of the day, that wouldn't help anybody, because I'm over here like, dang, bro, I need to upload, but I really don't want to talk about Kingdom Hearts right now. Kingdom Hearts isn't a series that I can talk about literally every moment of every day. I get tired of talking about Kingdom Hearts. Most people get tired of talking about things they love, but we all have that one thing that we never get tired of. And for me, Kingdom Hearts isn't that thing, but as you guys can see, that doesn't mean I don't like talking about Kingdom Hearts. Nobody can look at this channel and say I don't like talking about Kingdom Hearts. No one can tell me that. I'd laugh at you if you said that. I love the gold platform style. Happy my support gets good stuff for everybody. I appreciate that, Rose, and I know you're a patron, so I really appreciate that. That's why I try to bring up patrons in videos, or at least have patrons shown off in the end credits of videos. What's up, SMC Soccer League? Trying to make a soccer league. I already have 80 players. Oh shoot, that's pretty clean. I need to go AFK because I'm being pressured right now. I'm being pressured right now. So, I wish I had a co-commentator right now. Jaden's in the call with me right now. I am in a call, as you guys heard. Actually, you guys didn't hear him. I'm going to go AFK for a second. If we still have viewers, that will be a wonderful thing. Dude, I'm looking like Toad with this haircut, bro. If I still have viewers, that would be a wonderful thing. But if not, we might end the stream. But I'll be right back. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. I'm watching. I'm literally watching you right now. Look to your left. Okay, I'm back. Who said y'all could leave? Who said y'all could leave, huh? Who said that? Huh? What? Who said y'all could leave? Let me show. Let me show. Let me show. Let me show. Who said y'all could leave, huh? Bro said she had to go. Be back. Be back. Am I on the loud? Is anyone there? Need a bigger gun. I've already been streaming longer than I actually planned on streaming. Oh, shoot, that's pretty cheap. Okay. We still here. We still here. We still here. Yes, since we're still here, y'all are still here. I'm gonna retweet my tweet again to get more people. Best KH game in your opinion? Kingdom Hearts 3. All right, we're gonna break out the tier list. We're breaking out the tier list. We're breaking out the tier list. Dang, of course. I want this to be cropped. This is what I want. Go ahead and take that away. Boom. I guess we could take it with. We don't have to. Why not? I make it longer. It does. There you go. Boom. Like that. All right. This is our tier list. We're going to make a tier list. I thought Digital Slayer. Good to see you. Any Masked Dancer fan? No direct. What's up, William? Caught my shiny Lunatoon. Hey. Hey, James, appreciate the retweet on me. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right, we're gonna make this tier list. We'll make a tier list. We'll probably make a tier list and then go to bed. It's already kind of late. I started streaming way too late tonight. Way too late. Let's change to this song. There we go. 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 Love this song a lot. Dude, I'm so glad I got my homework done today, dudes. So glad I got my homework done. All right, let's do this. Tier list. I don't know what to name the tiers. That's something I'm not too sure. Maybe I should just go with letter grades. I've played every Zelda game, so I'm not too worried about that. We're gonna do S tier, the A tier, B tier, C tier. I don't think there's any D tier Zelda games, so I'm gonna remove this one. Let's do this. This is gonna be no order. No order. The individual tiers are not in order, but of course these tiers are gonna be in order. So whatever's in S is above everything in A. So view off the bat. Link Between Worlds, that's a given. There's not many Zelda games, and this isn't even all of them, especially if you include re-releases. So, well, actually, this is a re-release right here, and this is a re-release of that one. I can't tell what this is supposed to be. Is this a non-canon game? I can't tell. It's not supposed to be. I think it's a re-release. Looks like a Link to the Past Zelda. I can hardly tell because it's cut off. But unless that's not Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Is that? I can't even tell what that's supposed to be. Oracle of Ages and Seasons is right here. So what freaking is it supposed to be? So does the OST get copyright strikes? Well, some OSTs do, like Nier's get copyright claims, but you can't really get a strike on that kind of stuff. If the only way you can get a strike is if of course copyright claim is easy. The owner of the OST would have to detect, YouTube system would have to detect that this song that you do not own is being played in this video or stream. This stream is monetized. So when you got into this stream, you likely saw a ad, maybe, not too sure. I haven't seen a YouTube ad in years because I have YouTube Premium. But most people, when you go onto a video or stream, you see an ad. That means the stream is monetized. However, if this is a monetized stream and I'm playing something that doesn't belong to me, then that person who owns the song has the right to take away the revenue I'm making from this stream or this video. However, there are other things, with copyright laws that would consider this transformative. I'm not claiming the rights to this song. It's background music in my own custom, transformative work. I might be playing this game, but it's transformative because this video is something I'm making. This stream is something I'm making. If I was just randomly playing the game on stream or playing the music on stream without any commentary, anything, then I'd be making money off a stream when I'm doing no effort but playing the song. That would be wrong. And you only get a strike if when I get the claim that removes the revenue, I claim no, I was using it correctly. So no, you're wrong. I'm going to dispute that. You'll only get a strike if you choose to dispute it and they still deny you. So like if I'm just playing music on stream and not doing no kind of commentary or nothing, and I get a copyright claim, if I go and choose to dispute that, then I will get a copyright strike because that's obviously stupid. I'm literally making money off of playing this song that I didn't make. So that's the only way you can get a strike. If you ever hear somebody talk about them getting a strike, it's because they disputed something and they did not win the dispute. However, if there are a bunch of crap cases too, you can still have done nothing wrong and get a strike. So it's pretty wonky with YouTube. YouTube is pretty wonky with it. So is Twitch. But yeah. All right. Link Between Worlds, that's a given. It's one of the best Zelda games ever made. It's a reimagining of one of the best Zelda games ever made. So that's pretty obvious. It sucks that it's only on 3DS. It's criminal it's not on Switch. But it's amazing, absolutely amazing. I love literally everything about that game. There's nothing I dislike about that game. In order to find something I dislike about that game, I would need to go in depth and take like an hour to really ponder what I don't like about the game. And this is coming from someone who hasn't just played it once and didn't just recently played it. I played it the year it came out, and I played it at least 10 times since then. It is very, very, very good. For this specific message, I'm going to use the remake box arts for these. Like I'm going to use Wind Waker HD to count as Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. Those box art just because they're the newest and probably more recognizable. Same with Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. I personally like the box arts for these better than their originals too, so that also could just be a reason. So that's just gonna be said there. Majora's Mask, that's my favorite Zelda game, so I guess technically I could do here, but these two can go in any order and would still be accurate. I love these for the amount of replayability they have, what I get out of it, the characters, the story, the lore, everything. These games are filled to the brim of what makes Zelda Zelda. Majora's Mask is fantastic. Even though Majora's Mask is different, I still feel it does the Zelda formula so different that it's become iconic. Absolutely fantastic. Another game that's not on here is Link's Awakening remake. I'm gonna put Link's Awakening. This is gonna represent Link's Awakening remake. Link's Awakening remake, I'm gonna put at A tier. Ocarina of Time, I'm going to put above that at A tier. I can agree that it's a better game. I think the dungeons are more well designed in Ocarina of Time than Link's Awakening. However, I'll probably pick up a Link's Awakening before Ocarina of Time though, because it's shorter. So that's me personally. Breath of the Wild, I'll put at A tier, at least for now. I'll put it at A tier. I will definitely pick up most Zelda games before it, but I can't deny as a celebration title, it absolutely does so much justice to the whole series. So as a Zelda fan, you know, it's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm also going to put A Link to the Past. Oh, okay. Actually, let's not do that one yet. Twilight Princess, I'm going to put, I'm so torn with A Link to the Past and Wind Waker. I'm so torn. I feel like, I want to put them in B tier, but at the same time, the quality you get from them is legit. Like, in my head, I think I like Wind Waker more. However, mainly just because of the themes. Yeah, I like Majora's Mask because it's dark and stuff like that, and Twilight Princess is also dark, but I also don't find that game to be a very, I guess, attractive looking game, which takes it down a notch for me, because I like being attracted to the games that I'm playing. Like Wind Waker's art style really does a lot for me. I really like how that is and lets me get into it more, personally. However, too though, what it lacks in, I guess, appearance, it makes up for in actual depth. The dungeons in Twilight Princess are probably the best in the series, probably. So despite, if you were to put these games in front of me and tell me I have to play through one of them right now, I would probably pick Wind Waker, just because it's shorter. Twilight Princess is disgustingly long, by the way. It's very long, easily the longest game on this list, even just for a general playthrough. But Wind Waker is a much shorter game. The dungeons aren't nearly as good, but the sense of adventure you get from it is way more, in my opinion. You know, I'm way more focused on the plot and destination and objective of Twilight Princess than I am the adventure of Wind Waker. So I feel, in a way, the pros and cons of these two balance each other out. So I guess I consider them equal in terms of game. I will definitely pick up both of these games before I'll pick up Breath of the Wild. Again, this isn't supposed to be in any order, but it kind of is right now. Four Swords I'm putting C tier because I don't care for Four Swords too much. I guess I'll put Four Swords Adventure. This will just count for both. Screw it. Wind Waker is the only game I played. It's Wind of the Wild. Wind Waker is a fantastic game. It's an absolutely fantastic game. You should absolutely play it if you guys haven't already. And if you have played it, replay it. It's great. This is going to trigger some people. Oracle of Ages and Seasons, I'm going to put, see, this is what sucks. I'm going to trigger people. So what? If I trigger people, who cares? Skyward Sword, I'm going to put in S tier, purely because of the lore, the story, the characters, the gameplay. I love the gameplay. I think the world design is something that suffers the most in that game. However, I feel the world design being linear doesn't take away. It's not enough to drag it down when everything else about the presentation is so powerful. The interactions between Link and Zelda, the dynamic that Fi and Link have, the bosses, you know, the bosses are fantastic and epic. The approach to combat is very, very fun. Even if you have to work past the controls, I still found the approach to fighting, you know, being much more in-depth, the most in-depth combat we've had so far. You know, I love that. It felt like I was really going up against these foes. I love that whole thing. The dungeons are fantastic. The puzzles are just right. They're not overly they're not too hard like I feel they are in Twilight Princess, but they're enough to make me scratch my head and feel, you know, exhilarated that I get it. You're playing Kingdom Hearts? Who's playing Kingdom Hearts? This stream says it's not playing any game. There's a Kingdom Hearts thumbnail that I used for clickbait, but I put Zelda in the title. And we've been talking about video games and Zelda's 35th anniversary. But I'm not playing Kingdom Hearts right now. But what's poppin', Lexi? Skyward Sword is a phenomenal game. I can't wait to play it on Switch. Triforce Heroes, I'm gonna put in C tier. A good game that I probably won't come back to unless I have people over and we're playing the game, maybe for a stream series or something. That would probably be something I'd play with, even though that game has online, but still. I'm going to say this. I'm gonna put these two here right now. Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. They're not bad games, they're just old. So if you can get in, jive with old games, then you'll be all right. But I personally just think that, again, like Breath of the Wild is Zelda 1 just in 2017. So it may have a different story and have a different world, but that world is Zelda 1's reimagined, because Breath of the Wild is a reimagining of Zelda 1. So that's what I'm going to do there. Zelda 2 is a more interesting game than Zelda 1. Zelda 2 is a game that I'll pick up faster than Zelda 1, but I'll also probably put down, faster. When I pick up Zelda 1, I will play it all the way through and I will beat it. If I pick up Zelda 2 again, I probably won't beat it all the way through. I'll probably play a lot of it, but I will put it down, probably. That's just me though. That's just me. Especially the end game is kind of annoying. Link's crossbow training. I'm not even gonna put it on the list. Hyrule Warriors. I find this to be a very fun game to play. I'm putting it in B tier because one, the story isn't canon, and that's something I can't get past. I don't like there being not canon Zelda games. It's annoying. But the game is a fan service game. I can freaking lay waste to my foes, in Zelda, in the Zelda universe. I can play as whichever kind of Link I want, other kinds of Zeldas, it's great. It's great. It's not a game I'll pick up, before a traditional Zelda. I mean, that's mainly because of the genre it's in. It's a Muso. And even though it's one of the best Muso games out there, I still feel like, again, when I crave playing Zelda, it's not normally a Muso I'm craving. So I'll put it in B tier, and I think it's comfortable there. It doesn't mind being there. Here, though, I'm going to also put another game. I'm going to put Minish Cap before. Again, this is supposed to be no order. And I'm also going to put A Link to the Past. And there is a reason I'm putting these games above a lot of the 3D games. And that is because they're shorter. I feel Zelda does very well in a shorter environment. I feel that when you have a adventure that's focused and condensed, it does very, very well. So A Link to the Past set up the structure for what all these other games you're seeing here will do. It set up a Link, Link's Awakening. It set up Ocarina of Time. It set up Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. The structure those games do, Minish Cap, and the structure that these games go for all came from A Link to the Past. So, but the thing is, those games are basically double the length of A Link to the Past. And that's mainly because the worlds are bigger, so they take longer to explore. So essentially, in A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, you do the exact same things, but these things take longer to do because it's a 3D game. And that's not necessarily a con though. So me saying that doesn't necessarily make A Link to the Past better than Ocarina of Time, because you can easily think that, oh, well, A Link to the Past is shorter and I like my adventures feeling, a bit more broad. I like feeling like, yeah, I just went on an adventure. Some people don't feel that when the adventure is so short. So it just kind of depends on your personal preference. I love A Link to the Past, so I'm going to put those. Again, it's not supposed to be in any order, though I personally go back and forth with which I prefer, Ocarina of Time and A Link to the Past. But if I want to pop open a Zelda game, A Link to the Past is going to be one of the ones I do first, just because of how short it is. It's shorter than A Link Between Worlds too, but A Link Between Worlds and A Link to the Past don't have that much different in length. A Link Between Worlds is in 60 FPS, so it feels like the game is moving at a faster pace as well, And Link Between Worlds is in a reimagining of Link to the Past, and I feel it does it very, much justice. So I enjoy that one. Minish Cap is a shorter game than all of those. It is a very, very short adventure, but I feel the art style really makes up for it. It's like, imagine if Wind Waker was in 2D art style. It's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's so animated, and I love the GBA era of video games. Everything was so inspired. You think, I can't imagine, making SNES games look even better. But I think the original games were so much better. That's why I think, like, if they just made a new Mario game on GBA instead of just porting, Super Mario World and porting the Mario All-Stars essentially on their own separate games for GBA, it would have been much better just making an original Mario game, because I think they probably would have looked better, because you can't tell me that there's no difference in graphics between A Link to the Past and Minish Cap. One is an SNES game that was ported to GBA, which A Link to the Past was, and the other was made for the GBA. You can tell the difference. One shows what the GBA is truly capable of, and the other just shows what the SNES was capable of. Even though I think the SNES in its later years did really well, of course it was able to make games like Chrono Trigger, but at the end of the day, the GBA is like a portable SNES, but I also feel that in graphical fidelity, it was able to do more, me personally. Or I'll say this, even if somebody tries to come at me, oh, whether the technical jargon says this, it doesn't matter. They utilize what the GBA was able to do more than the SNES was able to do in a lot of games. So that's just facts. I'm sorry. James agrees. Facts. Oh, is that over it? Oh, crap. Boom. Okay, so this is where it gets complicated. I think I'm going to put Phantom Hourglass in B tier. Phantom Hourglass is fun, but I also feel like it makes me want to play Wind Waker. It's not a bad game. I love the feel of adventure, and I love Lineback. He's definitely a great character. He's funny while still being annoying, but at the same time, I don't really care for the story. Isn't anything special. I'll say that. The bosses are really good. The end game is really good. The lore of the villain is good. I love that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to prefer Spirit Tracks. That's why I'm going to put Spirit Tracks in A tier. And I think Spirit Tracks, solely because of the dynamic between Link and Zelda, is absolutely, it rivals that of Skyward Sword, which is one of the biggest reasons it's in S tier. The only reasons Spirit Tracks could never be in S tier is because of its DS nature. It is greatly branches off of Phantom Hourglass. They play very, very similar. But the story in Spirit Tracks is much, much better in my opinion. Having a companion Zelda and that companion be Zelda is pretty freaking great. And the fact that it isn't tied to any other Zelda game, though it may be a DS game like Phantom Hourglass is. Phantom Hourglass is a sequel to Wind Waker, so it has that tied to that and branches off from that game, while Spirit Tracks does not have that, so it feels more condensed and centralized in its own focus. So that's why I feel Spirit Tracks is better. But I'm sure most people probably would agree with me anyway. I'm going to put Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons in B tier. This is a bit peculiar for me to do because I feel these games deserve A tier solely because of what they achieved. These games aren't like a Pokemon Red and Blue kind of thing. They're, I guess in a way, their own sequels to each other. Whichever one you choose to do first, at the end of the game, you're given a code that'll let you do the adventure of the next game as a continuation of the previous, to essentially get the true ending of the whole story. And I think the fact that Zelda hasn't done that again is criminal. But I absolutely love the game. I love the games, the dungeons, the action, the combat of both games. They're absolutely great. They're absolutely great. One focuses on puzzles, the other one focuses on action, and I love the dynamic of the two. But I also feel that they don't stand as tall individually. I only feel so strongly about them when they're played together. And I feel needing to play both games, essentially 2 games, despite their short length. I feel the need to play both games kind of brings it down, which is why it's not in A tier. But I think that's it. The rest are just remakes. I don't know what this one is supposed to be. I don't know what that is. I can't really tell. Wind Waker we already put on here. Twilight Princess we put on there. Ocarina of Time is on there. I'm not differentiating between the both. When I say Majora's Mask, I'm talking about Majora's Mask N64 and 3DS. I don't care. Some people might say, oh, well, I like Majora's Mask N64 is S tier, but Majora's Mask 3D is only B tier for me. That's not it for me. I don't really care the difference between the two, you know. Personally, of course, I do think Majora's Mask N64 has its pros and cons. Personally, I think all the bosses and the Zora thing and everything is better in the N64 version. However, I like the Bomber's Notebook, you know, and how organized the side quests and everything are all in on the 3DS version. That's the sole reason I'll pick up the 3DS version over the N64 version, just because of how organized that whole side quest thing is. Because Majora's Mask is a side quest game. If you play Majora's Mask, if people say they love Majora's Mask or it's their favorite, it's gonna be because of the side quests and the world building. Those are the CDI ones, F tier. Is that what that is? I couldn't even tell it was it. That kind of looks like a Link to the Past Zelda. So I was like, hey, but screw that game. Screw that. Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time. I guess I could put Master Quest. Master Quest is cool, but I also feel that Master Quest feels like it shouldn't be there in a way. It has redesigned dungeons, redesigned enemies and all that stuff. So basically you have in-game level dungeons and enemies at the beginning of the game. So personally, I don't play Master Quest that much. I only played Master Quest like one time or once or twice. And honestly, I don't really feel the need to go back to it, because I feel like a lot of the things I liked about the pacing and structure of Ocarina of Time's dungeon aren't in that. I guess it's better if you want a greater challenge, but I feel the challenge comes from trying to perfect and get it as good at these games as possible. But I feel like adding artificial difficulty by throwing harder things at the very beginning when you're not equipped to deal with those things is artificial difficulty, and I don't really care for that, you know. So I guess I'll put it in C tier. I'll still pick up Master Quest before I will Triforce Heroes in these games, so I guess that makes sense. I know Crossbows Training, I'll put it in C tier. And Four Swords is technically different than Four Swords Adventure. I'll put it in C tier also. No, I won't. Four Swords Adventure is already there. It's the same freaking game. Same freaking game. That's a neat add-on. That's all it really is, though. It's a neat add-on. If you like that sort of thing, then you can absolutely try it out. I feel things like hero mode and stuff like that of, say, a Link's Awakening remake is a lot, better. It's a lot better. But okay. I think I'm going to end stream. I know it was kind of a shorter one, but I started very late today. So I apologize for starting so late. I ended up deciding I wasn't going to stream at all, but I decided to stream anyway. So I hope you guys were able to enjoy the stream despite how short it was. I'm sorry I had to go AFK for like 10 minutes when I was gone earlier. So I apologize for that. I apologize. Hopefully I will be able to stream again very, very soon. I might stream tomorrow, but if I'm honest, I'm probably going to I'm not going to go to bed, but I'm probably going to play Heaven's Ward. Start that because I haven't actually started it yet. I guess I'll keep you guys posted on what is poppin' with it. But Master Quest feels like it's from an era where there was no standard for hard equals good. A lot of people just think, oh, hard game equals better game. I don't necessarily think that a game being harder makes it better. I feel like as long as the game forces me to learn its combat system or forces me to learn it in general, then I feel that the game is succeeding with its challenge. I'm not going to be upset about it, you know? Chrono Trigger I would not call a difficult game, but it makes me learn and encourages me to switch out my party members so I can gain new, tech moves with everybody and make the game overall easier for myself. It'll let me, because the less tech moves you have, the harder it's gonna get. But the game naturally makes you do that by playing the game. So I feel like scaling like that is good. But if you can't do that, then some people just stick with difficulty settings, which I feel suck in a lot of games. But that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Zelda 35th again. Much love to you guys. Hope you guys play some Zelda. Hope you guys played some Zelda today. If not, I appreciate you guys talking with Zelda about me. With me. I uploaded today. It was a re-upload of a video I did, so I apologize for it just being a re-upload. But if you haven't already, let the video loop, hit the like button, bring some interaction to it. I would very, very much appreciate it because that was one of my favorite videos to make. So thank you guys so much for watching. My name is KingdomAce, and remember, my warriors of courage, to stay strong, stay beautiful, and always look skyward. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.